Beijing has moved to tighten its grip over the South China Sea by setting up new administrative structures in the disputed waters. The two new districts will be under the authority of the local government in Sansha, a city in the southern island of Hainan. The new districts will govern the Paracels and Macclesfield Bank, an area claimed by Vietnam and Taiwan, as well as the Spratly Islands and their adjacent waters, where there are multiple overlapping claims. Over the past 6 years, China has sought to expand its control over the South China Sea by building artificial islands and facilities that can be used for military purposes. Using the Chinese names for the Paracel and Spratly Islands respectively, the Ministry of Civil Affairs announced on Saturday, the State Council has recently approved the establishment of the Xisha and Nansha districts under Sansha City. According to the notice, the Xisha administration will be based in Woody Island, also known as Yongxing Island. Meanwhile, the Nansha administration will be placed in the Fiery Cross Reef, referred to as Yongxi Reef in Chinese. The announcement came at a time of heightened tensions with the US and Vietnam over the South China Sea. Beijing claims almost all of the area but has conflicting claims with Vietnam, the Philippines, Taiwan, Malaysia and Brunei. The conflict has remained unresolved for decades and has now become another flashpoint with the US. The Paracel Islands are claimed by Vietnam but were occupied by China in the aftermath of a 1974 invasion that displaced South Vietnamese forces, killing dozens. This month, Vietnam lodged an official protest against the Chinese government after a fishing boat was sunk following a collision with a Chinese Coast Guard vessel near the islands. China said the Vietnamese boat had been fishing illegally and sunk after ramming the Chinese vessel. The sinking provoked an angry reaction from Washington, which accused China of exploiting the COVID-19 pandemic to act when other countries were preoccupied with the crisis. This week it also angered Washington by sending a survey ship, the Haiyang Z8, into waters also claimed by Malaysia and Vietnam. The Chinese Foreign Ministry said it was conducting normal activities and said the US complaints were smears. Kang Lin, a deputy director of China's National Institute for South China Sea Studies, said the move to establish the administrations had been expected and said the country was under international pressure to increase its presence. He said, as the artificial islands and essential infrastructure in the area are now well in place, it is now the right time to make administrative control in the area more effective. Meanwhile, there have been continuous scuffles with foreign powers in the waters nearly every month. China sees the need to step up its claim of sovereignty over its territory, he said, noting the frequent patrols by the U.S. Navy. The U.S. Navy conducted a record number of patrols near disputed features claimed by Beijing in the South China Sea last year, according to figures from the U.S. Pacific Fleet. Kang, who works at China's only state-backed research institution dedicated to research in the disputed waters, said the new administrations meant more manpower and resources would be dedicated to the management of the islands. Departments dedicated to finance and natural resources management are also expected to be set up. The administrations can serve as a frontline buffer to immediately deal with any kinds of problems related to the area, Kang said. While the military presence and related build-up activities in the area does not fall into the administration of the local government, obviously there will be better cooperation between the government and such actions with the formation of administrations. Colin Ko, a research fellow from the S. Rajaratnam School of International Studies at Singapore's Nanyang Technological University, said the move signaled that Beijing was likely to build more infrastructure and enhance its military presence in the area. This move also comes amid the ongoing negotiations on the Code of Conduct governing behavior in the disputed waters, Ko said. It's clear that Beijing is seeking to further consolidate its gains in the South China Sea before the code ever gets promulgated. Even if no code materializes eventually, Beijing would be in a much stronger physical position in the SCS. Talks between China and the Association of Southeast Asian Nations about the Code of Conduct are ongoing, with the two sides being committed to finalizing it by next year, but progress has been slow since a draft agreement was presented in August 2018. Beijing has refused to make the code legally binding, while other countries worry it will not help to resolve disputes in the region. Research vessel Tankaki of Xiamen University has sailed to the South China Sea for a 35-day scientific expedition departing Wednesday from Xiamen, East China's Fujian province. The vessel took 23 researchers from the university and the Chinese Academy of Sciences. They will carry out surveys, take samples, deploy and recover long-term observation instruments in the central South China Sea. Two weeks before setting out, expedition members were quarantined in Xiamen to prevent the novel coronavirus infection. All of them have undergone a mental health assessment and 2 nucleic acid tests for the virus, a source of the university said. The research vessel was named after patriotic overseas Chinese businessman and philanthropist Tankaki, who established the Xiamen University in 1921. With a total length of 77.7 meters and a width of 16.2 meters, the vessel has a max speed of 14 knots. It was formally incorporated into the State Oceanographic Research Fleet in 2017 and has conducted various scientific study trips since then.